Ladies and gentlemen, I want to speak to you tonight about a battle we don't always see, but one that rages in the hearts and lives of many women today. It's a battle between the force of darkness, the narcissist, and the unshakable power of God. You see, narcissists, they thrive on control, on manipulation, on convincing someone that their truth is not real. They seek to belittle, to diminish, to trap. But let me tell you this, there is a power far greater than any human ego. There is a protection that no manipulation can pierce. That protection comes from God. For the women watching this right now, hear me clearly, you are not alone and you are not powerless. There is a force watching over you, guiding you, shielding you from the lies, the gaslighting, the emotional attacks. God does not just sit on the sidelines, He fights for you. He strengthens your spirit when you feel weak. He renews your courage when fear threatens to paralyze you. A narcissist may try to steal your peace, but God's protection is a fortress you cannot see, but you can feel. And when you walk in that protection, when you recognize your worth through His eyes, the narcissist loses their grip. They cannot define you, they cannot control your destiny, and they certainly cannot silence your voice. I want every woman listening today to know that stepping into your God-given power is not an act of arrogance. It's an act of survival. It's claiming the divine protection that has always been yours. It's saying, I will not be defined by the cruelty of others. I will not be shaken by lies. I will rise, I will stand, and I will thrive. And to those watching who have witnessed narcissism in your lives, understand this, your healing is not just a dream, it's a promise. It's a power that transforms pain into purpose. And every step you take in faith, every moment you rely on His protection, you weaken the narcissist's hold on your life. So I challenge you tonight, and I want you to feel this with me. Do not cower, do not hide, do not accept the chains of manipulation. Walk boldly in the protection of God, knowing that He is greater than any force that tries to harm you. And as you do, you will see the narcissist's power fade, their lies exposed, and your life illuminated by truth and freedom. Remember, ladies, there's a strength that comes from above, a shield that cannot be broken, and a destiny that cannot be stolen. Step into it, own it, live it, and watch how the power of God transforms your life in ways you never thought possible. You know, the first thing we have to understand in this battle, this silent war, is that recognition is everything. You cannot fight what you cannot see. And narcissists, they are masters at hiding behind charm, behind flattery, behind smiles that feel warm but burn cold. They know how to disguise control as care. They know how to wrap manipulation in words that make you doubt yourself. And if you don't learn to recognize it, you will find yourself caught in a web before you even realize it. Let me tell you something, narcissists don't just attack openly. They don't always yell or lash out in ways that are obvious. No, they are subtle, they are calculating. They'll twist your words, they'll gaslight your thoughts, they'll make you question your own reality. And here's the danger, they make it feel normal. You start thinking, maybe I am overreacting, maybe it's me. And that's exactly the trap. The moment you start questioning your own sanity, the narcissist gains power, and that power feeds on your doubt, it feeds on your fear, it feeds on your silence. But recognition is freedom. Recognition is the first act of claiming your life back. It's seeing through the lies and understanding the patterns. A narcissist will often try to isolate you, make you feel like no one else understands, make you feel like you are walking alone in a dark room. And when they do that, they're testing you. They're testing to see if you will bend, if you will yield, if you will internalize their control as truth. But you don't have to play that game. You don't have to give away your peace for someone else's ego. Think about this, manipulation doesn't always look like cruelty. Sometimes it comes disguised as affection, as attention, as someone who seems to care just a little too much about controlling every move you make. It's the subtle put-downs, the jokes that sting, the guilt that is misplaced. It's the constant questioning of your feelings, your instincts, your intuition. And if you are not careful, you begin to distrust yourself more than you distrust them. That's why recognition is critical. It's the moment when you say, I see you. I see what you're trying to do. And I refuse to let it define me. And here's the beautiful part, God gives you eyes to see. He gives you clarity when you ask for it. He gives you discernment when you take the time to listen, not just to the words around you, but to the whispers of your own heart. That inner voice, listen to it. When it tells you something is wrong, when it warns you, when it nudges you toward truth, that is the divine protection speaking. You see, recognizing a narcissist is not just about understanding their tactics, it's about understanding your own worth. It's about realizing that no one has the right to manipulate your soul, to control your spirit, to make you doubt the incredible woman you are. Every woman who has ever been caught in the cycle of narcissism knows the slow erosion it brings. It's not violent at first, it's quiet, almost imperceptible. But day by day, moment by moment, it chips away at your confidence, at your joy, at your peace. And that's why recognition matters so much. Because once you see the game for what it is, once you understand the tactics, you can stop blaming yourself. You can stop thinking that somehow you invited this into your life. You can stop thinking that there is something wrong with you. Because the truth is, there's nothing wrong with you. The problem has always been the one trying to control you. Now, I want every woman listening tonight to hear this. You have a right to your reality. You have a right to your feelings. You have a right to walk freely without being haunted by someone else's ego. Recognition is your first step toward freedom. And I want you to do something with me right now. I want you to take a deep breath, place your hand on your heart and say, I see the truth. I am awake. I will not be fooled. Say it with me. Feel that power. Let it course through you. Let it remind you that awareness is your first weapon, your first shield, your first victory. You see, once you recognize the tactics, once you name the manipulation, you take away its power. And when God walks with you through that process, when His protection surrounds you, you realize something incredible. The narcissist doesn't define you, cannot control you, and will never take the life that is meant for you. Recognition is not just seeing the enemy. It's stepping into your own strength. It's claiming your God-given peace. It's saying to the world, I am protected, I am whole, and I will not be shaken. So let today be the day you open your eyes, the day you trust your instincts, the day you see through the lies. Because freedom, real freedom, begins with recognition. And recognition leads to courage, courage leads to healing, and healing leads to a life filled with purpose, with peace, and with the unshakable power of God. Now, let me talk to you about something that changes everything. Something that shifts the battlefield in ways the enemy can't even imagine. I'm talking about God's protective power. You see, the narcissist may think they have the upper hand, they may believe their manipulation is unstoppable, but they have no idea who they're dealing with. They have no idea the power that is already surrounding you, guarding your every step, watching over your every moment. This is not some abstract idea. This is not a wishful thought. This is a living, breathing shield that cannot be broken. God's protection is not like the walls we try to build ourselves. It is not something that can be torn down by human hands, by human lies, or by the cruelty of someone who thrives on control. It is more than physical safety. It is the safety of your spirit, the safety of your heart, the safety of your mind. When God is protecting you, nothing the narcissist throws at you can truly touch the essence of who you are. They may try, they may try, but His power is greater than their scheming, greater than their deceit, greater than the fear they try to plant in your life. And here's the truth you have to understand. Protection doesn't mean the attacks stop. It doesn't mean the words, the manipulations, the gaslighting, all of that disappears overnight. No, the attacks may still come, but here's the beauty. The attacks cannot harm the core of who you are. They cannot penetrate the fortress God has placed around your soul. They may shake you momentarily, but they cannot break you, because divine protection is not conditional on what's happening around you. It is steadfast. It is unyielding. It is a power the world cannot understand because it is beyond the world. I want you to imagine for a moment a light so bright it cannot be dimmed, a shield so strong it cannot be shattered, a force so powerful it repels every lie, every manipulation, every attempt to diminish you. That is what God's protection looks like. It is active, it is intentional, and it is relentless. And when you walk in it, when you recognize that you are under His care, something extraordinary happens. You begin to see the narcissist for what they really are. Just another human trying to steal from someone who is already guarded by a power far beyond them. And let's be honest, sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we let fear creep in. Sometimes we feel weak. But even in those moments, His protection doesn't fail. Even when your knees shake, even when your heart races, even when doubt tries to whisper, you can't do this. God is there, holding you up, surrounding you with a strength you cannot produce on your own. And that is the difference between human strength and divine protection. Human strength can falter. Human courage can fade. But God's power, it never wavers, it never tires, it never runs out. You see, walking in God's protection also gives you clarity. It helps you distinguish the lies from the truth. It helps you find the peace in the chaos, the calm in the storm, the truth in the deception. When you rely on His power, you stop reacting out of fear. You stop being manipulated by the narcissist's games. You start acting from a place of confidence, from a place of wisdom, from a place of spiritual authority. And that, my friends, is where true freedom begins. And here's something I need every woman listening to understand. God's protection is not passive. It is not something you wish for and hope it arrives. It is something you step into. It is something you embrace. It is something you claim. When you say, God, I trust you to guard my life, my heart, my mind, you are activating a power that the narcissist cannot touch. You are claiming a shield that no human ego can break, a fortress that no lie can penetrate, a peace that no manipulation can destroy. Now I want you to feel that just for a moment. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, and imagine being completely covered, completely guarded, completely untouchable. That is not fantasy. That is reality when you walk in His power. That is not something to be taken lightly. That is your God-given right. That is your inheritance as a child of the Most High. And so tonight, I challenge you, step into that protection. Recognize it. Feel it. Live it. Know that when God is with you, you are untouchable. No narcissist, no manipulator, no cruel word, no gaslight, no scheme can take away the life, the peace, the joy that belongs to you. Now let me speak to you about strength. Not the kind of strength you see in muscles or in loud voices, but the strength that comes from faith. The kind of strength that doesn't just survive, it rises. That doesn't just endure, it transforms. You see, women have been under attack for far too long, not because they are weak, but because the world has tried to convince them that their power comes from somewhere else. But real strength, the kind that nothing can shake, comes from faith. Faith in God, faith in purpose, faith in the truth of who you are. When a narcissist tries to belittle you, tries to diminish your light, tries to make you feel small, it is faith that becomes your armor. It is faith that whispers, you are not defined by their lies. You are not broken because they are cruel. You are whole because God says you are whole. And let me tell you, hearing that whisper, believing that whisper, changes everything. It changes the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you breathe in your own space. It changes your very presence in a room. When you are anchored in faith, no manipulator can pull you off balance. Faith gives you resilience. It allows you to endure the attacks without losing your center. When a narcissist attempts to provoke fear or shame, when they try to manipulate you into questioning your worth, faith steadies you. It's like a deep-rooted tree in the middle of a storm. The winds may blow, the rain may lash, but the roots are secure, the trunk is strong, and the branches, they may sway, but they do not break. That is the kind of strength faith gives you. That is the kind of protection that no human cruelty can ever dismantle. And faith does more than just protect you. It empowers you. It teaches you that your life is not determined by the actions of someone else. It teaches you that your destiny cannot be stolen. It teaches you that your heart, your mind, your soul belong to God, and therefore no one else has the right to control them. When you embrace this kind of faith, you stop living in fear of what others might do to you. You stop walking on eggshells, constantly looking over your shoulder, constantly questioning if you are enough, because faith reminds you, you are more than enough. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And when you live from that truth, the narcissist's power diminishes. Their tactics, their manipulations, their attempts at control, they lose their impact because you are grounded in something stronger, something eternal, something unshakable. Faith also gives you discernment. It allows you to see people's situations and motives clearly. When you are guided by faith, you are not blinded by charm or seduced by flattery. You are able to recognize manipulation for what it is. You are able to sense danger, to hear the subtle lies, to understand the patterns that others might miss. And once you see it, once you name it, you reclaim your power. You reclaim your space. You reclaim your peace. Because faith doesn't just protect you. Faith gives you eyes to see, ears to hear, and courage to act. And here's the beauty of it. Faith grows stronger with practice. The more you trust, the more you lean into God's promises, the more you allow yourself to believe that you are protected and loved, the stronger you become. Every trial, every challenge, every encounter with someone trying to manipulate or harm you becomes an opportunity to strengthen that faith. Every time you choose belief over fear, hope over despair, truth over deception, your power increases. Your resilience deepens. Your life becomes a living testimony of what it means to stand strong in the face of darkness. Now, I want every woman listening to hear this clearly. Strength through faith is not about ignoring the pain or pretending that the battle is easy. No, it's about recognizing the reality of the struggle, acknowledging the attempts of the narcissist, and choosing to rise anyway. It's about saying, you may try, you may manipulate, you may lie, but I am anchored in God's truth, and I will not be moved. That is power. That is courage. That is a force no one can defeat. And so tonight, I challenge you to embrace your faith as your strength. Lean into it. Speak it. Let it fill every corner of your being and guide every step you take. Because when you do, you become untouchable. You become unstoppable. You become the woman God designed you to be, a woman of power, of resilience, and of unshakable purpose. Now I want to talk to you about something that is absolutely essential in this battle. Something that, when understood and embraced, changes everything. I'm talking about the fortress of peace. The kind of peace that no narcissist, no manipulation, no lie can ever break. You see, the world wants to tell us that peace is just the absence of trouble, that peace is silence, that peace is when everything seems calm on the surface. But true peace, the peace that comes from God, is far deeper than that. It's a fortress built from the inside out, a stronghold that shields your heart, your mind, and your soul even when the storms rage all around you. Narcissists thrive on chaos. They feed on confusion. They thrive on breaking down the walls of your mind so they can control your reality. They want you unsettled. They want you questioning yourself. They want you running in circles chasing your own sanity. But when you step into God's fortress of peace, all of that loses its power. You may still see the storm outside. You may still hear the noise. But inside, in your heart, there is a quiet strength that cannot be shaken. And let me tell you, that is a game changer. A fortress by its very nature is strong. Its walls are high. Its gates are secure. And when God builds that fortress around your life, it is not just for protection. It is for restoration. It is for clarity. It is for the space you need to think clearly, to feel deeply, and to move forward with purpose. Within this fortress, you are not forced to react to every attack, every manipulation, every cruel word. Within this fortress, you can stand firmly, grounded in your truth, anchored in your value, and confident in your purpose. And here's the beautiful part: this fortress of peace is not something you have to construct alone. You don't have to figure it all out by yourself. God is the master builder. God is the architect. Every prayer you pray, every time you seek His guidance, every moment you choose faith over fear, He strengthens the walls around you. And when those walls are strong, when the gates are secured, the narcissist cannot penetrate them. They can try all they want, but their efforts will bounce off, powerless against the protection that surrounds you. Peace, real peace, also gives you perspective. It allows you to see people and situations as they really are, not as the narcissist wants you to believe they are. It allows you to recognize manipulation, lies, and deceit without being swept away by them. When you are grounded in God's peace, you no longer feel like a pawn in someone else's game. You start to understand that you have agency, that you have voice, and that your life is your own. And once you realize that the power dynamic shifts, the narcissist may rage, they may scheme, but they no longer hold the control they thought they had. The fortress of peace also allows healing to take place. When the attacks are relentless, when the lies seem endless, when the manipulation feels like it will never stop, peace gives you the space to breathe, to recover, to rebuild. It allows you to process without panic, to respond without anger, to move without fear. And that is what God's protection looks like, not just shielding you from harm, but giving you the power to heal while the world tries to tear you down. And let me be clear, building and walking in this fortress is not passive. It requires intentionality, it requires mindfulness, it requires a commitment to your own well-being and to the power that God has given you. It requires saying no to fear, no to doubt, and no to anyone trying to manipulate your heart. It requires prioritizing prayer, reflection, and the conscious act of anchoring yourself in God's promises. And when you do that, you become untouchable, not because the world changes, but because your inner world is unshakable. Now, I want every woman listening tonight to understand this: your fortress is your peace, and your peace is your power. Do not let anyone convince you otherwise. Do not give your energy to chaos, do not surrender your mind to manipulation, and do not allow lies to enter the gates of your heart. Stand firm, remain vigilant, and trust that God is building this fortress around you brick by brick, prayer by prayer, moment by moment. Now, let's get real for a moment. There comes a point in every story, in every battle, where you realize that the chains holding you are not invincible. There comes a moment when you look at the narcissist, at the control, at the lies, and you see them for exactly what they are: fragile, temporary, powerless against the strength you are about to claim. Breaking the narcissist's grip is not easy, it's not instant. It takes courage, it takes clarity, and it takes faith. But understand this: once you step into your God-given power, once you recognize your value, once you refuse to let their manipulation define your life, the grip that seems so strong starts to crumble. A narcissist thrives on control. They feed on your confusion, your fear, your self-doubt. The moment they sense that you are questioning them, the moment they see hesitation, they tighten their grip, hoping to reclaim power. But here's the truth: they cannot hold what God has already freed. They cannot bind what God has already released. Their control is an illusion, a mirage, and when you step into faith, when you step into your worth, the mirage disappears. What was once terrifying becomes manageable. What was once unbreakable becomes powerless. Breaking free starts with understanding. Understanding that the power the narcissist seems to have over you is never real. It is borrowed from your own self-doubt, from your own fear, from your own willingness to internalize their lies. The moment you stop giving them that power, the chains begin to fall. You see, freedom does not come from confrontation alone. Freedom comes from awareness, from recognizing the manipulation, from understanding that their ego cannot define your destiny. And once that awareness hits, once you see the truth, you cannot be held captive any longer. But let me tell you, breaking the grip also requires courage. Courage to say no when they demand yes. Courage to speak your truth when they want silence. Courage to step away from the chaos they create and walk boldly into the light God has prepared for you. It takes guts, it takes resolve, it takes a willingness to stand even when the world, or the narcissist, wants you to fall. And when you stand even for a moment, even for one breath, you start a ripple effect. You begin to reclaim your life, reclaim your peace, reclaim your power. Faith plays a huge role in this. Faith reminds you that you are not alone in this fight. Faith reminds you that you are protected, that you are guided, and that you are destined for more than their control. Faith gives you the strength to let go of what no longer serves you, to step out of the toxic patterns, and to trust that God's plan for your life is bigger, stronger, and far more powerful than any attempt to manipulate you. And as you embrace that faith, the grip that once seemed impossible to break begins to weaken. Slowly at first, and then more quickly until it no longer exists. Breaking free is also about reclaiming your voice. Narcissists work hard to silence you, to make you doubt your instincts, to make you question your truth. But your voice is sacred. It is your power. It is the instrument through which you declare your freedom, your worth, your boundaries. When you speak your truth, when you stand firm in your convictions, the narcissist loses control. Their words lose power. Their lies lose impact. And your life begins to move in the direction God intended, not the direction they tried to force. And remember, breaking the grip is not just about removing someone else's influence. It's about reclaiming your inner life. It's about taking back your peace, your joy, your confidence, and your sense of purpose. It's about standing in the knowledge that you are loved, you are valued, and you are protected. It's about understanding that no one, no manipulator, no ego-driven person can define your worth except for the one who created you. Now, I want every woman listening tonight to hear this: the grip is not stronger than you. The chains are not unbreakable. The lies cannot hold the truth back. You have been equipped with faith, with God's protection, with resilience, and with courage. And when you use those gifts, when you step boldly into your God-given power, you will watch the grip that once seemed impossible dissolve before your very eyes. Viewer engagement, take a deep breath with me right now and say it out loud: I am free. I am no longer bound. I claim my life, my peace, and my power. Say it like you mean it. Feel it in your spirit. Let it remind you that nothing and no one can hold you back when God is fighting for you and you are standing in your truth. Now, let's talk about what comes after breaking free, because breaking the grip of a narcissist is only the beginning. The real victory, the true power, lies in what happens next: healing and transformation. You see, freedom is not just the absence of control, it is the presence of restoration, the rebuilding of your spirit, the reclaiming of your joy. When you step out of manipulation, when you rise from the ashes of lies and deceit, healing becomes not just possible, it becomes inevitable. Healing starts with recognition. Recognition of the pain, recognition of the wounds, recognition of the moments where you doubted yourself, recognition of the moments where someone else tried to define your value. You must see it to release it. You must name it to reclaim it. And once you face those truths, something remarkable happens. You realize that your scars are not marks of weakness. They are marks of resilience. They are proof that you survived, that you endured, that you are still standing. And more importantly, that you are ready to rise higher than ever before. And transformation. It's a word that carries weight, but let me tell you, it's the most beautiful part of the journey. Transformation is more than just changing your circumstances. It is changing your mind, your heart, your spirit. It's about letting go of fear, letting go of doubt, letting go of the belief that someone else can define your destiny. Transformation is saying, I am no longer the person I was when I was held captive by lies. I am new, I am restored, I am whole. And when that happens, the world begins to shift around you because you are no longer reacting to the chaos. You are creating a life anchored in truth, in peace, and in purpose. Healing is also about reclaiming your story. A narcissist tries to write your story for you, to make you feel like you are the problem, like you are at fault, like you are powerless. But when you heal, when you embrace God's power in your life, you start to rewrite that story with your own hand. You start to see yourself as the hero, not the victim. You begin to understand that every challenge, every heartbreak, every manipulation has been a stepping stone, a lesson, a preparation for the greatness that is waiting for you. And that shift in perspective, that's transformation. Let me be clear, and healing does not mean the pain disappears immediately. It does not mean the memories fade or that the impact of the narcissist's control vanishes overnight. Healing is a process, and it requires patience, intention, and faith. But every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Every time you choose self-love over self-doubt, every time you choose faith over fear, every time you embrace the truth of your worth, you are transforming. You are becoming the person God intended you to be, the person you were always meant to be before anyone ever tried to control you. Transformation also brings clarity. It allows you to see what is truly valuable, what is truly lasting, what is worthy of your time and energy. You begin to understand who and what deserves a place in your life. You learn to set boundaries not out of fear, but out of love for yourself. You start to attract people who honor your spirit, who lift you up, who reflect the respect and dignity that you now claim as your own. And that, my friends, is the ultimate victory, not just freedom from control, but freedom to live fully, boldly, and purposefully. And here's the beauty of it: healing and transformation are contagious. When you rise, when you reclaim your power, when you step into your truth, you inspire others to do the same. You become a beacon for those still trapped, a light that shows the way out. Your life becomes testimony to the power of God, the strength of faith, and the unshakable resilience of the human spirit. Now, I want every woman listening tonight to understand this: healing is not a destination, it is a journey. Transformation is not a reward, it is a way of life. And when you embrace both, when you allow God to guide you through the process, you will find something incredible. The wounds that once defined you now strengthen you. The pain that once controlled you now propels you. And the life that once felt impossible now feels limitless. Now, let's talk about stepping forward, walking boldly in faith. This is where the victory becomes visible. This is where the transformation you've been cultivating, the healing you've been embracing, the fortress of peace you've been standing in, all come alive in your life. Walking boldly in faith is more than just having courage, it's having conviction. It's having the clarity and the confidence to move forward, no matter what has tried to hold you back. It's saying to the world, to every narcissist, to every doubt, to every lie, I will not be intimidated. I will not be silenced. I will not be shaken. When you walk boldly, you do it with the awareness that you are protected. You walk knowing that you are not alone, that God is guiding your steps, that the power surrounding you is greater than any force trying to stop you. And let me tell you, the world can sense that energy. When a woman walks boldly in faith, when she moves with purpose, when she carries herself with the strength of belief, the manipulations, the schemes, the lies, they begin to crumble around her. Boldness disrupts the power of the narcissist because boldness is rooted in truth, and truth cannot be subdued. Walking boldly is not about arrogance. It is not about shouting or forcing your presence. No, walking boldly is quiet, confident, unshakable. It is the calm in the storm, the steady heartbeat in the chaos. It is knowing who you are and refusing to let anyone define you otherwise. It is making choices that honor your spirit, decisions that align with your God-given purpose, and taking actions that reflect your true worth. And the more you do it, the more natural it becomes. The more your confidence grows, the more your peace becomes your armor, and the more the world begins to recognize the power that is yours by divine right. And let me remind you, walking boldly in faith requires courage. It requires the willingness to take risks, to step out even when the path is uncertain, to trust in God's guidance even when the way forward is not clear. There will be moments of fear. There will be moments of doubt. But boldness is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward despite it. It is refusing to let fear dictate your choices, refusing to let manipulation hold you back, refusing to let anyone's lies define the boundaries of your life. Walking boldly also inspires others. When you rise in faith, when you claim your space unapologetically, when you show the world what it looks like to live without fear, you become a beacon of hope. Other women will see you and recognize the possibility of their own freedom. They will hear your steps and realize that walking boldly is possible for them too. Your courage creates ripples, your faith creates momentum. Your example becomes a lighthouse for those still navigating the stormy seas of control and manipulation. And here's the crucial point: boldness is contagious, but it begins with a choice. A choice to trust yourself, a choice to trust God, a choice to refuse to be small when you were meant to be extraordinary. Walking boldly in faith is a daily decision, a commitment to face the world with your head held high, your heart anchored, and your spirit unyielding. It's a promise to yourself that no one and nothing will dictate the direction of your life except for God and the truth of who you are. Now, I want every woman listening tonight to feel this. Walking boldly in faith is not just about protecting yourself from harm, it's about stepping fully into your destiny. It's about recognizing that the life you have been longing for, the joy, the freedom, the purpose, has always been within your reach. And when you take that step, when you walk boldly, when you refuse to be intimidated, you do more than protect yourself. You manifest the life that God has intended for you. Viewer engagement. Take a deep breath, stand tall if you can, and say with me out loud, I will walk boldly in faith. I will not be shaken. I will step into my destiny with courage and strength. Say it like you feel it. Let it resonate deep within your soul. Let it remind you that from this moment forward, nothing can hold you back, nothing can intimidate you, and nothing can stop the power of God flowing through your life. Now, let's talk about something truly powerful, the impact of victory, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. Because the moment you step into freedom, the moment you reclaim your life, the moment you rise above manipulation and deceit, your story does more than just belong to you. It becomes a beacon for others. Inspiring others through victory is one of the most profound acts of courage a woman can take. It's saying, without words even needing to be spoken, I have walked through the fire, I have endured the storm, and I am standing here unshaken, unbroken, unstoppable. You see, every woman who has ever been held captive by a narcissist knows the power of seeing someone else rise. It lights a fire in your heart. It sparks hope in your soul. It tells you that freedom is possible, that healing is possible, that victory is not just a dream, but a reality waiting to be claimed. And when you embrace that role, when you allow your triumph to be a guiding light, you give others the courage to believe in themselves, to trust their instincts, and to step out of the shadows of manipulation. Your victory becomes a roadmap for someone else's freedom. Inspiring others through victory is not about showing off or seeking recognition. No, it's deeper than that. It's about authenticity. It's about living your life with integrity, with faith, with strength, and letting the results of that life speak for themselves. When you live boldly, when you walk confidently, when you radiate peace and joy that cannot be shaken, people notice. They feel it. They see it. And in seeing it, they are reminded that they too can rise. And let me tell you something else. Your victory has ripple effects. One woman who embraces her freedom can inspire a dozen more. One act of courage can spark a chain reaction of hope. One life rebuilt with faith and resilience can serve as proof to countless others that no narcissist, no manipulation, no lie can define their worth or limit their destiny. Your story is not just a story, it is a tool, a weapon, a source of strength for those still in the trenches. And the world needs that light. The world needs your courage. The world needs your example. Inspiring others also requires humility. It's not about claiming superiority over anyone else. It's about acknowledging the power of God in your life and demonstrating how that power works when you walk in faith. It's about sharing your journey not as a boast, but as a testimony. It's about showing that setbacks are not the end, that challenges are not permanent, and that even in the face of manipulation and deceit, God's protection and guidance make triumph inevitable. And here's the thing: the more you inspire, the more your own faith grows. When you see the hope you ignite in someone else, when you witness their courage building because they saw your strength, it reinforces your own power, your own peace, your own victory. Inspiration is a cycle. It is both given and received, shared and multiplied. The more light you shine, the brighter your own path becomes. The more you uplift others, the higher you rise yourself. Now, I want every woman listening tonight to hear this: your life is not only about surviving, it is about thriving. Your victory is not only for you, it is for the countless souls watching, waiting, and hoping for a sign that they can rise too. And when you embrace that truth, when you step fully into the power of your story, you will see the extraordinary impact that one life can have when it is surrendered to God's purpose and walked with courage. Viewer engagement, take a deep breath with me. Place your hands over your heart and say it out loud. My victory is my testimony. My strength inspires others. I rise and I light the way for those still walking through the storm. Say it like you feel it. Let it resonate deep within you. Let it remind you that your life, your triumphs, your courage, and your faith are not only for you. They are a beacon, a guide, and a source of hope for the world around you. So tonight, I want you to walk away remembering this: God's power surrounds you, His protection shields you, and His love restores you. You have the strength through faith, the peace that cannot be shaken, the courage to break free, and the power to heal and transform. You can walk boldly in every moment, and through your victory, you can inspire countless others to rise. Never forget this: you are not a victim, you are not defined by anyone else's cruelty, and you are not powerless. You are a woman protected by the highest authority, strengthened by unshakable faith, and destined to live a life full of purpose, freedom, and light. And as you step forward, let your life be a testimony that darkness cannot stand against the power of God and the courage of a woman who refuses to be broken. Viewer engagement, take a deep breath, feel it in your soul, and say it with me one last time. I am protected, I am strong, I am victorious, I am a light in this world. Say it like you mean it. Let it anchor you, let it empower you, and let it remind you that the battle may be real, but the victory has already been won. Go forth with confidence, stand tall, walk boldly, and shine.